Right, I've resetted my connection. I should be I should be back at full capacity now. Oh no, Woody. How did that count as a re I didn't disconnect from the stream. I didn't disconnect. The stream was technically still running. That should still count as a previous stream. Oh boy. Of all the days for the fucking internet to be a stupid piece of shit is the day I'm literally sat here emptying my soul on the fucking internet and it goes and pisses me about. Fuck's sakes. That's cool. Just fucking so fed up. Literally the day. On the day, I was like, do you know what? I'm fucking just gonna say what I need to say. I'm just gonna be honest. And I'm gonna. The internet's gonna hand you a for notes. Fucking wish I had some. Oh, I really wish I had charisma. I have spent so many years not. So right. How do I start to explain all this shit in my head? I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. Oh my god. You think you I think you do next? I have a high charisma because I'm a warlock. Nice. Oh. Fuck it. Do you want to try using an analogy or an example? It's more. It's more. Oh, Woody, if only it was that simple. How do you. So I have. So, right, let's put this out in the ether. Let's put this out on the internet. Let's just fucking just have it out, right? I have ADHD. I have. So when I got assessed by the psychiatrist with my ADHD, he quoted, and I tell you as a matter of a fact, that in the scale of 100%, and the 1% is like the most severe, and the 100% is like not so severe. I'm in the top 5 fucking percent when it comes to how this thing affects your brain, right? I am way up there with this, and it's like chaos, and it's just like it's kind of like your brain is empty of thoughts, but you want to have a thought about why you want to talk about. It's like your head is so empty of any precognition. Hype achiever, high ass. Fuck, jeez, I am seriously, it pisses me off. I like everyone seeing this as some kind of benefit. So yeah, you like it's the equivalent of like 100% being limbs, and I have one fucking limb. Like, woo! I have a limb. Oh fuck. Oh Jesus. Oh. I don't want to. It's the truth. Oh, hyperfixation is ridiculous, by the way. I didn't know it was a thing. This hyperfixation thing is just it's oh Zeno wants to pitch. Yeah, please, Zeno. If you've got words that it can help me, that is honest to God, because this brain and these emotions are just unstable as fuck. I am brutally close to like tipping into full blown breakdown or sheer temper tantrum because I just cannot have. They are conflicting right now. Oh, have you ever? Okay, have you ever started a project and you're working on it, and I swear to you, you're working on this project and you forget that you have a partner, that you have a child, that you have eaten, that you've not stopped, you've not had a toilet break, your brain will literally switch off every memory and every thought, and you will 100% think about this one thing, and you cannot, and I swear to you, cannot deviate from that bloody thing until you've completely solved it to its entirety. And could you imagine you get like 80% to the fucking success of that thing, and then you have to stop because you've got life out that bloody door, like waiting for you, and then you have to walk away, and then all your brain can think about is the fact you've walked away from that thing that you want to solve, and it's the only thing you can think about for the entire night, and you can't sleep, you can't go to bed because it just sits there in your head constantly just going, why can't I fix that thing? Because it just won't let you, just won't give in, it won't go away. And then you, until the next day when you can come back to it, it's the thing you then go back to, and you can fixate it again, and you fix the thing, and then you sit there and you go, well, that was fucking fun. Sorry, that was intense in my head. Oh boy. Oh, sorry. Let's go back over the conversation because I had to get that in. That was like, whoa. Oh right. So what did we miss? We miss Woody saying that Emma's adorable. Well, that's true to an extent. Don't tell her that too much to go to her head. Um, secure a cord in ADHD, a double-edged sword. That's fucking true. That's no truer than I've ever heard. Brain weasels. I've never heard of the term brain weasel, but I can see how that would work. Talk about how you forget to eat as well. It's hard to keep track of where we are. Oh, here we go. All the time pretty much sucks. So people with ADHD, such as us, our brains can't focus properly on things and can easily get distracted by anything, such as setting a box down on the counter, walking to the door, then forgetting to set the box down. Sakura, it's like crash course addiction. The brains are craving dopamine that intensely. I hydrated M&Ms. Does that count? To an extent, no. There was liquid spit involved. Oh, oh boy. Sorry, but I needed to go back over. I don't want to miss what you're saying to me. I'm trying to keep tabs. I'm gonna go get a whole liquid. Nice. adorable to an extent. Um, so so the other day, I went into the front room and I saw there was cutlery and plates on the table that needed to go into the kitchen. So I picked them up. I started heading into the kitchen. My brain then looked at the dishwasher and it was like, I need to put these things in the dishwasher. So I put them on the side, but then I saw that there was like some clothing on the side that needed to go upstairs. So I then picked those up and started walking upstairs. I got about halfway up, and then my daughter called me. So I put them on the midpoint of the stairs, turned around, went back downstairs, went into the front room to see what my daughter wanted. Had a conversation with her, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I wanted a drink, didn't I?" So I was like, "Okay." So I go into the kitchen to get a drink. Then I see that the dishwasher has yet to be put on. So I then start emptying the dishwasher. My daughter then calls me, so I go into the front room again, and I'm in there, and my brain goes, "Oh, there's something I was supposed to be doing, but I need the toilet." So I started walking upstairs and see the clothing in the middle of the stairs. I'm like, "Oh, I need to take this upstairs, but I needed the toilet." So I carried on going up the stairs. I go to the toilet and all that jazz, and I'm like, there was something I wanted to do. I couldn't remember what it was. So I went back downstairs, came into this little room because I was supposed to be working. And I starts working and I'm like sat in, I look at my side and I see my empty cup and I'm like, oh, I want a drink. And like literally then I get up and I go to the kitchen, put the kettle back on for the third time because it's cooled down by the time I've remembered. And I'm like, oh God, I need to do the dishwasher. So I start with the dishwasher. My daughter then calls me and I goes to sort my daughter. Needless to say, the clothes are still on the stairs. I still haven't made a drink. Well, I still hadn't made a drink at that point. Or no, I didn't drink that day at all. And I didn't get any work done. But I did move some stuff around the house. I did that. I successfully did that. When dealing with a hyperfixation, I have a little heartbreak each time. I can't. So I've been trying to be open about my feelings recently. I don't know if anyone's seen on our Discord recently what I've been up to and the pictures I've been sharing and stuff, but I've literally been struggling a whole lot. You know what helps me out a lot? If I have to do something and I don't want to forget, I'll put something out of place just because my brain has mapped out exactly where everything is. And if I say a pin is sitting next to my keys and not my drawer, then I'll question why it's there and remember what I had to do. Oh God. So I've actually done this and I didn't realise. So before I got diagnosed with ADHD, I came up with some really interesting ways of dealing with situations because I genuinely thought I was just forgetful as hell. Right? I genuinely thought I just couldn't remember fuck all. Like it was just that literally my head just couldn't remember shit, and that was why that's my life, right? So I came up with some ideas. For example, I can remember to take my rucksack when I leave the house. I don't know why, but my rucksack is almost like part of my attire, like part of my identity. And so when I leave the house, I put my rucksack on, like almost instinctively so. Like I cannot forget to do that. But I can forget the keys to the house, my mobile phone, my wallet, eating, drinking, like easily forget that stuff. But my rucksack is the thing I never forget. So when I walk around my house and I see my keys and I see my phone on the side where I don't remember ever put it there, but I must have done, I pick them up and I put it in my rucksack. because otherwise I will forget that stuff. I will literally walk out of a house without it. Do you know what? I think I'm really good at faces, but not names. Like, I can literally see a person and go, I know that person, I've met that person, I know who that person is, I just don't remember their name at all. Cannot remember it. And do you know what I do? My way of dealing with that situation is to walk over to that person and say, hello, I know you, but I've forgotten your name. Could you please tell me what it is again, please? My method is brutal honesty. Because I just don't have time to keep trying to cover up the fact I've forgotten that person's name. I just will just be honest and say I don't remember it. We often cover the key bowl with stuff we have to remember, so we physically cannot leave the house without seeing the thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. My brain will lift up. No, I won't even look in the bowl. The bowl is non-existent in my head. I'll just walk out the door. And I'll get like 10 minutes down the road and I'll go, oh shit, where's my keys? Oh, they're in the bowl. With the thing on top of it that I need to take with me, or that I was expecting to have on me today. I'm really good with voices. I want to say faces, but mine is more of an exact image memory. So if they change their hair or something and it no longer matches the image I've memorized, then I won't recognize them. Pete's forgotten where all the Easter eggs Emma made last year are hidden. No, I think because my thing with my ADHD is recognizing patterns and memorizing imagery. Like, my visualization is, I would say, my strongest. So Sakura was talking about like the double-edged sword stuff, right? One of the things I'm really good at doing is memorizing visual like things. So like, somebody can show me how to fix something on a computer, and I watch them do it, and I can remember visually every screen and every button they clicked, like to the absolute moment. Like, I will never forget that stuff. It will literally live in my brain for life. It lives there rent free all the time. I can remember systems and technologies I learned when I was 18, and I can remember them vividly, like it was like I still know it, like I could do it now, and I haven't touched those systems in like 20 years. It's just ridiculous. So when it comes to faces and pictures and imagery, I'm really good at remembering that stuff. But words and names and birthdays and stuff like that, I cannot remember at all. But weirdly, I used to be like, I had to stop this, by the way, because somebody tricked me with it once, and I've learned from that mistake. But I was able to memorize the entire sequence of numbers on every one of my credit cards in order, including the security number on the back of every credit card I had. So if I needed to pay for something online, I could recite the entire like 18 to 21 digit number of the specific credit card I wanted to use, by the way, and the code on the security code on the back of that whenever I wanted to. And I remember once telling somebody I could do this, and they were like, yeah, whatever. And I did it, and they wrote the number down when I did it, because I was stupid and naive. What's this? Sorry, so when I had my LW200 car, I often drove without shoes because my foot was too big for the pedals. So I had to start leaving my work shoes in the car because I would forget them in the house, and almost to work and realize I didn't have them. I did this. I had a pair of shoes for home, a pair of shoes for the car, and a pair of shoes at work that sat under my desk. So I would be able to basically put on a pair of shoes to drive with, get to work, and then go, oh yeah, I need my smart shoes because I'm technically at work, and I would change them under my desk. I can't remember numbers, so if I'm given a bunch, I have to write them down. However, I can memorize the number patterns not by the number, but by their positions. That's cool. I'm also garbage with names, let alone connecting names to faces. Those are two separate files in my brain. To be fair, I completely agree with you on that one, Sakura. I can do faces, but not names. I can't do both. I cannot, literally cannot, no way do both. It is one or the other in some cases. Or, so this is how random this ability of mine is. I can watch a film and an actor will appear on the screen in makeup, in full makeup, and my brain will go, oh, that's that guy from that film. And I'll go to Jem and I'll be like, oh, that's that guy from that film. And she goes, no, it's not. And I'm like, no, seriously, it is. And then we look it up and every time I'm right. Because I can do facial patterns insanely well. I don't even have to have a lot of a face. I can see it, like, ridiculously well. But I can't remember the name of the person, like, at all. Just from where they're from. So was that? Sorry, going back a sec. I'm going. So I need to keep chat over here, don't I? Because I'm going back and chatting about stuff that's no longer on the screen. So that's going to confuse people because I'm going to be talking about stuff that doesn't exist technically anymore. But anyway, I don't care. So Zeniflame said, so like I have no idea what my work punch ID is, but I can punch in because I know the position pattern. If they switch out to a new keypad with a different layout, I won't be able to punch in anymore. What's odd is I can memorize people by the sound of how they walk. I can do that. And I can recognize people by the way they smell. Oh my god. Sorry, this is like renovation shit right now. My brain is like, what? I know who is in the room by the smell in the room. I am not joking. I can tell I have got some weird ability to know when people are in a room by the smell. I swear to you, it's ridiculous. And it's like, if someone gives me a pair of socks and I smell the socks, I can know exactly who they belong to. It could just be like a standard black pair of black socks, and I'll know instinctively who that belongs to just from the smell. And it could have just come out of the washing machine, and I will know because people's smell is so like, oh, it's just ridiculous. I think it's just like, oh, insane. Sorry, that was something just triggered in my head. But I can do sounds as well. Yes, I've got that ability. Yes. So Sekiro said yes, Zeno. There is so much that I do that is essentially a vibe check. Yeah. Peach is the same with member positions over the numbers. He knows passwords by the keyboard touch. Yeah, I know that one too well. Where are we? Just trying to remember where we are. I'm getting a bit lost. Apologies, everyone. I'm trying to keep up with this. Okay, Okay, Woody said Emma will now always connect me with making her do high rates. And you're like me with actors. Oh, and Emma's complaining about being thrown that puzzle ball. That was funny. That was hyperfixation. Absolute. That was. What else was just been said? Sorry, just trying to keep everything in my head. Sakura says, "I'm terrible with recognizing people. Definitely one of those folks that will learn their pets first. My wife is a pets first person. She absolutely is." Not Emma said, not actually throwing it at me, but distracting me for half an hour of it. Sakura says, "That's crazy cool. Olfactory memory runs super deep." Zeno says, "I think my best ability is being able to memorize every single route to a location based on scenery." Oh, but I can't tell you any of the road names. Oh god, this is so true. I can also estimate distance from particular distance in the amount of steps it would take to a particular person. Oh, okay, that's just smashed my mind massively because I swear to God, because of my photographic memory, I only need to drive a route once to memorize it, and I never need a sat nav again to retrace the drive route ever. It's just ridiculously quick how I can remember, and it's not by the road names, it's by the memorable buildings I drive past that does it. Oh god, that's so true. That's so true. Oh. Woody, my mates at work can sniff a jumper and they know who it belongs to. See, that's me, 100%. Sakura, it's so critical, Zeno, I'd get lost in my own house. Woody says, my mate... Oh no, I said that one already. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up. Emma, I do this, rely on familiar scenery, which makes it quite awkward when people ask for directions. I've actually said things to people in the past like, oh, you just drive down to the water tower, you take a left at the end of the road, you keep going to see the co-op, you go past the butchers on your left, and you keep going up there, and now I'll take you to where you need to go. And someone goes, the water tower? Yeah, the water tower just up there on the left. There's the water tower? Yeah, it's a big converted water tower on the left. As you got... Oh! Yeah, I do that. That's me right there. Woody says, I'm quite good at mental maps of locations I've been to. Confuses my wife and friends when I do it. So Chris says, I'm good at remembering chunks of plazas of shops, but cannot tell you where they are in relation to one another or the street names. Sakura says, jealous, at least a third of my family is like that, so I can ride that luck out. Zeno says, the odd thing is, if I go any place I've never been to, I will never go to sleep no matter how tired I am. Like my brain has to memorize where I am before I can sleep. Emma says, so the next time we meet up with Noxie and he starts sniffing our socks, we know what's up. Emma, honest to God, if I know your scent, I won't forget it. It's scarily weird. I don't just do it. It's just a game I can do. Sakura says that kind of makes sense, and like your brain needs to build a virtual map before it fully loads into place as real. Senate says to Sakura, yeah, go down to the lights, make a right, drive for about 2 minutes, and you'll see a clock tower on your left. And take another right, follow the road until you get to the fourth light, then make a left. Make another left, and you'll be looking for the building with the missing shutter with the windows. Yeah. Emma, what is Emma? Be obvious that those Oh, talking about if I was sniffing stuff, it'd be obvious because people would be wearing them, though. There we go. I'm catching up. Catching up. I'll get there. Her scent is sheep adorable. Emma says, we cover our scent with the smoke from the fire. Doesn't matter. Sometimes whenever it feels like we're running a different OS and our brains held together with duct tape and feathers with glitter glue. So let's have this kind of history moment, because fuck, let's not play a game tonight. Let's just have a chat. Let's just do that. Let's keep chatting today, because I'm just not in the mood to play games, but I am in the mood to just chat shit today. And as you probably can gather, I apologize to anyone who is of a nervous disposition, but I have been swearing an awful lot tonight, and I have been quite colourful with my language. It's mainly because my brain has just had enough. It's like I censor myself. You know this. I censor myself, like, instinctively. So I feel like that's me masking. Like me trying to be the person that people would like to perceive me to be. Does that make sense? Yeah, no, the spoon's left for the Disney Switch. That's fucking true. So a few things you'll recognize or realize about me. I will change the perception of my personality to allow other people to be comfortable with me. I will change my approach, my style, my confidence, my personality, so others can feel comfortable around me. And I will never do it. I will never expect it the other way. Secure. I cuss so much and so casually when I'm comfortable or tight. So no, when I was a kid, I lived in a neighborhood that had about 3 entrances and exits. There was a side road that wrapped around the back end of the area. But the way I mapped in my head did not fit with how I was viewing it in reality. Armageddon. We just went up to 12A, folks. Oh no, Zeno, did they rebuild it? It doesn't sound like a masking. I 100% do that to be more accommodating, palatable. Emma, I can't imagine Sak swearing. Sakura, so many F-bombs. Zeno, no, the shape of the neighborhood is just an odd shape that has a slight curve and you cannot view correctly inside of, yeah, Nexia After Hours. Technically, all my shows are after hours because from being in the UK, it's after 9 p.m. Therefore, you're allowed swearing. Is the way the TVs do it. But I've tried. So, oh boy, I'm getting fed up and tired with trying to change my perception, my personality, and the way people perceive me, to make them feel comfortable around me. I am a extrovert. Wholeheartedly, I'm an extrovert, right? I am always up for a joke and always like a good laugh. My problem is I am so overbearing to people. I panic and then I start this self-deprecation comedy. and start like making myself the victim so they can feel comfortable with me. And I'll put myself down and I'll make a joke of myself. I'm friends with an extrovert. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you definitely are. You were with me for one day and you didn't actually get to see me be myself because reasons I will go into if you want me to. But my spouse will say it's okay as long as people are having fun. My answer, right, so if I can bear the blunt of all the work and logistics, everyone else can have fun and it'll be good because I know I can handle that. I'm an extroverted introvert. See, I only if comfortable doing so. Oh, let's be honest. I am going completely. I'm just laying it out. I am done. When I tried to explain these things on Discord, and I at everyone, I feel like I'm bothering people. Like I genuinely feel like that. It's one of those really weird situations for me. I'm struggling a lot. I don't know how many people are following me on Twitch because they want to follow my content and see what I'm doing, or they're following me because I've asked them to. And I don't know how people come into my Discord because they want me to be who I am, or they would like the person I pretend. Well, I said they were masking to be on streams. And I'm struggling with that reality because that, I think, is what's bothering me the most. People like me, they say I'm wholesome. They say I'm nice. They say I'm funny. I want to believe that. The reason I struggle with believing that, because the reason I believe, and the reason I'm struggling with that belief is because the person I am in streams is a masked version of myself, a feigned perception, a changed personality, because I don't know how to fucking be myself online. I struggle with the person I want to be is not the person I am. It's the person I want. I think I need to be for other people to be comfortable with me, and that's the person they like. So they don't actually like me. They like that person, that persona of me, and therefore I can't take what they're saying about me seriously, and I can't see it as a genuinely nice thing because I'm constantly at battle with myself because I'm like, you don't actually like me. You like this perception of me, the thing. You don't like the person I am because you like the thing I'm pretending to bloody be. Oh. I think a lot of kids with ADHD are often told how much they were a burden and too much. Yes, 100% yes. I love the meme. If I'm too much for you, go find less. Yes, I wish I could do that. Woody, nice sack. And then Seno said, "Osh, they gave me nothing and called it a day." Oh boy. So this is one of my Ritalin. Oh, is that medicine? Is Ritalin a medicine? I've never been given medication, by the way. They tried to give me medication when I thought I was depressed. Oh, I am ranting, and then Chimpanzee TV comes on. Hey, Jiffy. With this comes obviously Fritza and potentially my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and I apologize in advance, but I am literally laying it out at the moment. This is heavy shit, and if you if you're not if you don't want me to be laying it thicker at the moment, I recommend you switch it off immediately.
owe me and a room.
Oh
Fuck's
boy.
sake. I swear to God, if you clip all these, I'm not going to be happy.
I'm clipping every
It's meant for
single-
people with ADHD.
I know you will.
Oh,
I don't know why I
boy.
said that because I knew it was going to happen anyway.
It's more this awkwardness of the connectivity of my life and these people that are in it. That's all it is. It's just how close it is to me. And the fact I am being so bloody honest and kind of very open about this shit right now. And literally there's an element of fear in my brain now of that I have to put the wall back up and pretend I'm not this person right now. I'm trying not to do that. I work with a lot of ADHD kids and staff. Most of the time, it feels like the teachers and others at school are tired of what they are like. It's nice to be able to give some care and compassion when others are giving up. It was medicine used to be given to kids diagnosed with ADHD, but I believe they stopped due to its major side effect of causing kids going into puberty early and just putting them to sleep. So I'll give you some background of me if you want. We can go into that if we. So most teachers these days only take the job for the money. Okay, there's a lot of fucking things to talk about right now. My brain is there's loads. By the way, everything you all say is triggering me in so many different ways. Like it's actually quite hard for me to keep tab. Thank you, Woody. Thank you for these things because we're gonna lay it thick. So, if you're of a nervous disposition or you don't want to know what my brain is happening in my brain right now, go away. I am not making excuses. I'm not going to apologize for being myself right now. This is going to be deep and this is going to be heavy and this is going to be hard to hear for some people. But fuck it. Who gives a shit? No. But people talking about mental health. Go back a sec. I'm going way ahead of myself. Right. So going up to. So I need to make this chat panel bigger. I'll pop it out because I am mistracking this. Right. I'm going to pop it out and making it bigger because I need to see what you're telling me. Because I am not keeping up, and that's not because I don't want to. It's because I get distracted so goddamn easily. So we're going back a step. We're going to go over these things. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about everything. Right. So, Sakura says they think I'm taking kids out into the hall to discipline them, but I check in and chat and help them regulate a little. I wish I had that as a child. I really do. Zeno, I would be so bored in school I literally pulled out my baby teeth. My way of pulling out my baby teeth, by the way, was eating toffees. I realised if my tooth was wobbly, if I put a toffee in my mouth and then squeeze it and then yank my mouth open really quickly, it pulled my teeth out. Little tip for anyone that needs to get stuff out of their mouth. Oh, I was so bad with my own personal well-being. Sakura, sorry, Noakes. I can see how it's digging up a lot of buried trauma. Sakura, do not apologize to me. I opened the forum of this discussion. I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable because I believe that I am dealing with stuff right now and I am not giving myself the absolute chance I deserve to improve. And let's be fair, I am not the person I think I should be on streams because I'm constantly in battle with myself because I'm pretending to be this thing that I think others want to see. and I'm not being the authentic myself that I truly believe I should be. And so I am constantly at conflict with myself because I want to be that person. I want to be me, and people to genuinely like who I am and enjoy the things I do. But I can't believe that they are when I'm constantly masking and pretending to be someone I'm not. So do not apologize to me. It's absolutely fine. I will go through. I'm going to work my way through this bloody conversation, and we're just gonna go for it. And if it takes me multiple streams to work through this shit with you guys, I am gonna do that stuff because I genuinely think I need to. Right. Fritz says, without people talking about mental health, we would never have created an environment where others feel comfortable enough to talk about their own. So so you have no need to apologize. Secure. I'm apologizing for not asking ahead of time if you're able to hold a space for that. I always will. Always will. Where do you ban the word sorry? Well, I can only apologize. I think I said that a few times in between you banning it and me now. I can't get around that anymore. I'll time it from when he sees it. It's only fair. Fair enough. Tom actually, I did the same but with gum. Oh, I didn't think of using gum. I found that toffees had that kind of ability to be kind of really kind of hard in your mouth, and it would hold the whole tooth. So it was like really good, and also because it was super sweet. When the blood started pouring out, it just kind of didn't bother me because it was sweet. I'm so weird. Good point, Emma. I said sorry again. I was already messed up. No, God damn it! Don't ban a word like that when I'm currently dealing with stuff. Because I will apologize because I feel like I have to. Damn right. I'm gonna do it for now. I'm gonna try my best. I promise you. I'll try my best, but I'm gonna screw up. I just know it. I used a pencil to pry mine out. Thus, I was banned from having writing utensils unless we actually had to write. Peanut butter got one of my teeth out. Peanut butter, that's an interesting way of doing it. Security, you're so tough on yourself when streaming next. I'm not. I'm trying to allow myself the opportunity to break out of this shell that I've built around myself because I felt like that's the person that people want me to be. And I want you, every one of you, to see me for who I really am, not for who I think you want me to be. And if after that I lose you, I will be sad. But at least you get to see the person I really am and not the person I think you want me to be. Okay? Right. God damn it. Jesus, that's going to break me again. Woody, take a note on tooth front for when wood chip starts using teeth. 3-ish therapy notes. Chimpan, I hit a point where I just am honest with the games I play now, and I do break a little and get anxious with people in chat, but I'd rather be myself than like you said, a mask of someone I'm not. See, I do that all the time. I generally do it all the time. Every day. Especially here. Secure, there it is. Time to start. I just know what's happening. I know what's coming now. Did he just apologize for not seeing the word ban of the word? Yeah, true. It was the goofball chewing gum from Court of. Not seen that one. Though I don't know what the consequences are of any. Should be gum, toffee, I don't know. Only take 2. Okay, take 2. Toffee if it's still heavily embedded. Gum if it's hanging from the loose. Yeah, toffee if it's heavily embedded is. Yes. Crunchy peanut butter. Basically, it placed itself under my tooth and pried it out. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I can. Oh. Yeah, that would. Yeah, that doesn't feel nice, but interesting way of doing it. Okay, please can we talk about putting teeth? Oh, I forgot to get the whole liquid. Yeah, it's one of the few things I'm squeamish about. I'm sorry, Emma. I'm catching up with chat. I'm not doing this to encourage the conversation again. I'm just catching up. I'm so bad. I won't allow that again. I'm trying not to say the word I'm not allowed to say, so I won't say it. Oh gosh, what did I just do? I was trying to catch up and I just messed it up again. If it helps, Emma, I was the opposite of that and tried to not let anyone take my teeth from me. Emma, go get your liquid. Whoop, just saw what you said. Lol, it's okay. Well, Sunday, well, now I know what game to give Emma on stream. Sakura, what's your second favourite bug? Second favourite bug? Is that a question to me? Is that a question to me? What's my second favourite bug? No. Fritz, I have been as genuine as possible online and it exhausts me if I mask on here like I would in person. Emma, it's okay, I knew it was coming. Sakura, I'm changed subject. It's to everyone. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing there. You're changing the subject. Woody, I'm gonna have to head off, peeps, sheeps, and those I don't know how to define people. Hope this evening becomes cathartic for you, Nixie. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will try. I'm working on it. Sakura. Oh wait, did you get a liquid, Sakura? I have to think of my first favourite and to think of my second. I did. I grabbed an entire 2 litre of soda. Emma, good night, Woody. Well, good night, Woody. Yeah. Right, I'm up to date. I'm back up. I'm right there. So I've got a longer chat now. I'm looking out over here because I'm changing everything. I should put it back, but I won't because I'm trying to keep tabs on it. My second favourite bug. I would need to think of my first favourite bug, like you suggested, and then I'd have to work on my second favourite bug, which is where I then struggle a bit. But I suppose, as bugs go, I kind of like I like ladybirds first. Ladybirds as a bug, they're cool. They have a mission of eating aphids and they help plants, so they're amazing. My second favourite probably would be bees. I like bees a lot, and they also help pollinate and stuff. Night all, got my ice water bottle ready to cuddle. I've got an air conditioning unit in my room and it's still not bloody cold enough. I'm not really a fan of most bugs, but I think I agree with Noakes that ladybugs may be my fave. Bees are a very good one. Yeah, I love bees. Bees are cute. They're really cute and fluffy and bumbly and just they are. I'd happily just let one land on me and I'd just look at it and go. And if it ever stung me, I wouldn't even be angry at it. The bug I hate the most, like with passion, like a burning passion. I hate wasps. Oh my god, I would literally bitch slap a lot of wasps if I get a chance. I absolutely hate them. I hate everything about them. I hate how they look. I hate their sound. I hate everything about them. They are the absolute bastards of the bug world, and if they died off tomorrow, I wouldn't care. Wasp can go and do one. Such. I appreciate that, Fritz. I appreciate you love all bugs, but I honestly, I hate wasps so much. Night, Chimpy. Good night, Chimpy. I did read your message. I'm just catching up. I'm trying to keep up. I mean, gonna have to head off. Okay, cool. Night. Emma, I have been more sympathetic towards wolves since I found out they essentially go crazy from starvation, but I still hate them. Sakura, I do not like crawlies touching me, but I sometimes don't mind touching them. Is the frog croaking? Not right now, but when he does croak, I'll try and put the sound on so you can hear it, because his croak is great. I love his croak so much. Wasps can suck it. They can freaking suck it. I hate them so much. Them and bloody hornets, bloody do one. They're honestly bastards. Anyway, yeah, we just completely went off tangent, didn't we? I didn't hear it just now. I would hear Kitsu. I would definitely hear him. He's like there. I'm not exaggerating. It's like literally like I'm touching his Viv right now. He's like right here. I can understand why people dislike wasps and similar other insects, but as someone who's never been attacked by one, I only have an appreciation for being part of the food chain of other critters. Oh, there's a croak sound when people chat. So in the chat, when people send a message, there's a croak sound. So, in my heart, I wanted people to feel like they are in the marsh with me, and so every time someone messages in this chat, there's a sound of a croak, in an attempt to make you feel like that you're communicating to one another, like frogs would. It's one of my very, very personal touches that I actually thought people might like. And I was trying to be a little bit more myself when I did that. Hence the way it exists. I do also... Oh, so Fritz says, I do also just like the way wasps look. It may be that you are hearing... Oh, okay. The croak sound from the conversations. Oh, that's it. I'm in a different part of my room, so the speaker it's coming through is really low. I can't hear it from where I am normally. Oh, I see. There we go. So, touching back on what we were talking about before the incident. So, as I was sort of explaining, I really struggle with accepting people telling me that I'm wholesome and humble and all that stuff, because I really am not. I am neurotic. I am selfish. I'm more selfless than selfish. Granted, I get that. There's things I am more of than like I'm more nice things than bad things. But I still have the bad things. They still do exist, and they still sit there, and they're still part of my personality. And I don't hide from those. I don't pretend they don't exist. But what I do is I censor myself, and I censor my. I put a wall up. I put a tinted glass in front of my personality in a vague attempt to stop people disliking the person that I really am, because I genuinely sometimes believe that I would make them run away and not want to talk to me. And so I spend a lot of my time pretending to be this personality that I think other people want to see, which when you go back over my content, you look at the times I am happiest, and the only times my real self comes through is when I laugh about stuff, when I giggle, and when I break, and when that mask cracks, and I can't stop laughing, and I can't stop giggling. They're the only times I'm being truly authentic when I stream. My giggle is golden. Thank you. Yeah, they're the only times. If you go back through my content, there's a literal clear change in my personality between the time before that kicks off, that moment, and then the time after. It's almost like I have to then quickly scramble back to the person that I think I need to be again, because I genuinely I genuinely fear that people won't like who they see sometimes. And then, talking back about the ADHD side of it, the dopamine that I'm desperately trying to seek from doing this is at conflict with myself. I don't feel any element of satisfaction when everyone's enjoying the person I'm pretending to be. It doesn't feel true. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel correct. It doesn't feel nice. And that leaves me feeling empty. Like really empty. And so I spend my whole stream and I'll push through it, and I'll try to do the content. I'll try to make it funny. I'll try to make it interesting. And I'm watching people switch off. And I honest to God believe people are seeing the fake me and not liking and don't feel the connection with me, and that's what switches them off. I genuinely think people will watch me and go, huh, and then go, not for me, because I'm not being authentic. I'm not being me. I'm not being the true self. And even if I was being my true self and I did that, I would feel less bothered by that than I am knowing that they're switching off because of the mask. Because I don't then know if it is truly me that they don't like, if that makes sense. It is very interesting to sort of I notice you're more yourself when playing with the fam too. I guess that's because you're used to being yourself around us offline, so online isn't much different. Actually, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. The content that people comment on the most when it comes to my side of the content is when I'm playing with other people. Specifically like my family, or like Fritz and Zayas and Chimpy, and Emma. Like when I'm playing with other people, my truer self comes through more often because I forget I'm streaming and I'm focused on playing with those people. So I don't have to mask as much because I'm having that true interaction, and I can bounce off those people, and I can have like a little bit of I hate the word, but banter. Yes, rifting off other people is something I do so naturally. Like my comedy style, I'm funniest when I'm bouncing off somebody else because I can gauge I can gauge the situation and I can gauge the person and I can say something that's not going to be harsh but funny, and I know it's okay because the person I'm doing it to knows me and they know my personality and they know my comedy and they know I don't mean it or it's not done in an aggressive or kind of questionable manner, and they generally then react in a positive way. And I feel more at ease when I do that, which is why sometimes especially when I'm having moments where I feel like I'm failing at being myself, I'll reach out to people and I'll be like, do you want to play a game with me? Do you want to do this with me? Do you want to do something with me? And when they can't because they've committed to other things or I feel rejected. And then, thank you, Emma. And I have, thank you, Emma, keeping my blood circulation going. I'm actually sat on my foot, by the way, because I'm trying to be. I'm trying to position my body in a way. I'm sitting on my foot, right? So I'm trying to sit myself in a way where I'm the most open, so I don't feel like I'm guarded. The less guarded I am, the more I can be honest. And you may notice my hands are all kind of like movie, kind of like touchy, kind of twitchy. It's because I am trying to fight my urges of building the mask back, and I'm also trying to distract, tactile distraction. Most days I'm available to play as long as I have the game, and I did have a fidget toy, and then I lost it. I put it somewhere, and I don't remember where I put it. It's not on my desk right now. I don't know what I did with it. I had one. I did have one. What was my fidget toy? I had a fidget thing for a while. Yeah. I was messing around with it for ages. Oh, it's this. This. I sat here the other day and I was doing this because I like the fact it was shiny and it's plastic and it's like there's no texture to it. There's no nothing. So I literally sat here the other day and I just moved it around loads and loads. When I'm talking to people on the phone, I'll pick this up sometimes and I just do this. Just spin it around constantly. And I'll just do that for a while. It gives my hands something to do, to focus on, to allow my brain the ability to sort of singular focus on a thought. Because as some of you saw earlier, I was a bit of a mess with my thought processes because I was trying to put it into words. So Sakura earlier mentioned schools. I wanted to talk about schools to some extent because I felt like I wanted to revisit that conversation, but I wanted to do it at a time where I felt a little bit more comfortable with doing that, so I gave myself some time in between when she said it and now. I'm feeling a little bit more braver to talk about school and my experience at school. So, Noxie at school. All of my reports that I have still say the same thing. They say I was a bright kid, but I would be so much better if I paid attention. Like every single lesson par one said that I would be really good if I would just pay attention. Now, they're the same breath, these teachers used things like SATs and GCSEs and mock exams to predict what type of future I would likely have. And you know what they said to me? It's their fault for not paying attention, not our fault because we haven't looked into the reasons why. Excuse, 100% agree with that. But what they did is they doubled down. They really doubled down with me. They told me in my careers conversation that I was a lost cause and I would amount to nothing, and that I should look into labouring or bin collection as a career. That is what my school told me about my prospects for career. They even attempted to give me when we did you do the job experience, work experience for 2 weeks. They tried to put my work experience in bin collecting. That is what they thought I would amount to. Do you know what the most frustrating part of that experience for me was? Every subject that I was dealing with at the time, I had no issues with. I absolutely understood what they were telling me. I absolutely understood how to solve every fucking problem. I knew every answer. I knew every solution. I just couldn't write it down. Just could not write it down. Could not put it into words what I knew. And because of that, apparently I was a failure as a human person. And that was really difficult to accept, for me anyway, because in the back of my mind I was like, but none of this is hard. What? Wait, I know the answer to these questions, I just couldn't explain in text format how I knew it. Like, for example, like one of my maths questions was, what is the square root? Or no, was it that here's a curve? What's the formula for doing the area under the curve? Bob, I can't remember anymore because it's been like 20 years. But I wrote down the answer, or the two answers. Sorry, I wrote down the two answers, and I got a fail because I didn't write the working out. But the question didn't ask for working out, it just asked for the answers. It didn't say show working out, it just said what are the answers. It said what is A and what is B. So I wrote it down. But they said, oh, because you didn't write down the equation and you didn't show how you figured it out, apparently, and I was wrong, even though the answers was right. And the craziest thing, and I still don't understand this to this day, and it's one of the things that really bugs me the most about English language, at least studying it at school when I studied it, was that they gave me a book to read, which is Romeo and Juliet. And I can't read books because I have dyslexia, but I didn't know at the time I had dyslexia. So I tried to read this book and I just couldn't even get past the first bloody page. Literally couldn't get past the first page. So I then decided to try and find a way to digest the information about Romeo and Juliet in a way that I would be able to consume it. So I found every film I could find based on the Romeo and Juliet books and watched them all. And at the time, there was like a Leonardo DiCaprio one, and some other ones. which it had like the ye olde English, like they would speak as if it was from the book and stuff like that, and I'd watch it and I'd try and understand it through the medium of watching the film. And I thought, I was like, I genuinely thought in my head, I've got an understanding of this book now. I get this book a little bit. I kind of can see where I'm going with this book. And then I went for my exam, and the exam was on a newspaper article about Nelson Mandela, and that is literally, I don't know what the fuck that was about. I don't get it. I didn't understand. What? You like my teacher told me to read a book called Romeo and Juliet, and I went in to do the exam, and I got given a newspaper article about Nelson Mandela is like being released from jail or something, and it was asking me questions like, what is this article trying to portray? What kind of feelings do you get from this article? And my brain was like, what on earth are you talking about? I do not understand where you're going with this. Oh, okay, Sakura, have a good lurk. I have fun lurking, and I hope to speak to second. Oh wait, what's a word? Typical school 101. Teach the children in a single way. Ignore any child that could learn it in a different way. They're completely hopeless. That's so true. I had to do maths lessons during summer holidays because I was failing maths before my GCSE exams. So one of my teachers actually helped me figure out that I had dyscalculia. I had to find out on my own. So interesting. I still struggle to read an analog clock and remember dates and times. See, interestingly, with dyslexia and me, when you don't know you've got a problem, when you don't know that there is something, I need to rephrase this. It's going to make sense, hopefully, when I rephrase this. When you don't know you have a weakness for something, because I don't think dyslexia or dyscalculia are problems. Realistically, they're not problems. We just don't understand that part of the world. We just don't get it. We don't understand it. It's not, it's not our fault that the world revolves around these methods of communication and tracking and all that jazz. It's not our fault that that's how the world works. And we shouldn't be singled out and left to suffer because we don't understand the tried and the methodology that they expect us to understand. This is not a problem. It's a weakness. It's not a problem. It is absolutely normal for us, and it does make it more difficult. But we shouldn't be the ones changing how we work so others can, like I said this earlier, Fritz, before you joined. One of the things, so I'm going off in tangents a lot, so apologies about this. I'm trying my best to kind of make sense with this all. I watched a TikTok, and I watched a guy talk about how he was tired and how he was no longer going to apologize for being the way he is. He said that all of his life, all he's ever done was change himself to make other people feel more comfortable with him. He's changed himself so the people around him and feel more comfortable with him being in their world. And he was basically saying, I'm tired of constantly making myself change for you. He said, if you want to communicate with me, you need to do it in a way that we both feel comfortable. It shouldn't be a one-way street. And it shouldn't be me having to change myself to make you feel comfortable if you're unwilling to change yourself to make me feel comfortable. And when he said that, and I listened to that, my brain literally was like, holy shit. I absolutely need 100% to do this myself. This is arguably the most important thing I've ever heard, and my brain has had to deal with. And I think this is what set me off on this path of this path that I'm currently on, because literally my ADHD requires me to be constantly seeks constant affirmation and confirmation that I'm valid as a person. I cannot change that. That is part of who I am. For some reason, it just needs that from the world. It needs to understand and feel like it's valid. How I get that from people, I don't know. But one of the things it has done is highlight that I am no longer comfortable with people telling me that I'm a nice person when it's not me being nice, it's my mask being nice. I say that, I am nice, but you know what I mean. What was the one I said earlier? Oh, it's wholesome. Calling me wholesome. I'm not wholesome. I'm not. I'm really not. I am not wholesome in any shape or form. I care about people, genuinely care about people, and I want to help people, but I'm not wholesome. No way am I. I'm human. I have my kinks. I have my interests. I have the things I enjoy. I'm not wholesome in any shape of the word. I mean, some of the actions I have could be considered that, but I'm not, as in a personality, I'm not that person. And I will not. And when someone called me that, I actually got offended. And then I was like, why would they say that to me? I don't know what I did to deserve it. And it took me a little while to realise that they weren't actually saying it to me. They were saying it to my mask, the portrayed personality that I had been portraying all this time. And I was like, okay, that's rather interesting, because that was not what I was expecting. So I've been working along this whole mental health thing. I've been trying to be more considerate of my own requirements as a person, and I've been trying to be more selfish, trying to get out of stuff what I feel like I need from it. And one thing I get from streaming, other than enjoying playing games and having other people come and talk to me about games, because that's my passion. Talking about games is something I like to do. If someone came into my stream and wanted to talk about games, I would talk about games for hours with that person, and I would never, ever, ever get bored. That is who I am. 100%. I love it. Love talking about it. Love gossip. I love speculation. I love it all. Every part of it. Gaming and talking about gaming is just lovely. Xenoflame. I don't think I can quite agree with some of that. Perhaps it's just a difference in view, but for me, I see mine as problems. That doesn't necessarily mean I see as detriment or of lesser value than someone who does not have the same problem. The best example I can give is when my stepdad lets me play one of his SNES games when I was a kid. Perhaps it was my age, but I couldn't quite comprehend some parts of the game, but I was able to adapt to still successfully complete the game. I absolutely appreciate your opinion of that. Please understand, there are elements of it I also see as detrimental. 100% agree with you. What I want to do though is I kind of want to change the language I'm using. Put it this way. How do I explain it? If you know the answer to a problem, right? You know the answer. You know you can answer this problem. You know the answer. So there's nothing wrong with your logical way of thinking at all. You know it. But you're speaking to someone who's French, and you're English. Is it a problem that you can't speak French? Is it your fault that you can't speak French? Is it something wrong with you because you can't speak French? Or is it you just don't know how to speak French? That is what I'm trying to, that's the kind of thought process I'm trying to put into this. I am not saying it's not detrimental at all. That is not what I'm saying, because there is elements of it I absolutely hate, because I can't control it, and it does have an impact in my personality, as an impact on me and my ability to do everyday tasks. But what I am trying to do is change the language I'm using, because I'm trying to say it's not my fault that I can't write what I know. It's not my fault that I don't know how to eloquently explain in words how I think and how I feel. It's a different language to me. It's just a completely different way of working than I can cope or navigate. And calling it a problem, calling it an issue, things like that, give it a negative. Yes, Fritz. Yes, I think that is what my brain is trying to do. It's trying to stop myself and also others to some greater extent, I suppose, blaming themselves for the way that they ultimately were built, because it's not your fault you weren't born to be able to do this thing, or that it's not your fault that your brain can't figure this stuff out. It's not your fault. No way is it your fault. And so taking the word problem and issue and taking it out of the context of conversation in that aspect, I'm trying to instill into people the understanding that it's not their fault and they shouldn't beat themselves up for it. Fritz, sure, it can be a pain to live with, but it doesn't mean we should be made to feel like with failures just for something we have zero control over having in the first place? Yes. Absolutely yes. 100% yes. Yes. I mean, yes. I agree. I don't want anyone to feel that I'm attacking them personally by saying these things, and I'm not saying that my opinion on these matters are more valid than anyone else's. Please do not get that from this conversation. What I would want you to get from this conversation, that is what I'm trying to desperately do, is give you, is allow you, how do I put it? To give you the right to go easy on yourself, I think is what I'm thinking here. Go easier on yourself. Stop punishing yourself. That's what I'm trying to do here. That's why I'm doing this right now. That's why I'm being so honest and open about this right now. I did my 12-hour stream. I absolutely found myself enjoying the first half of it so naturally. And then the second half of it, I started struggling. And then near the end, oh my God. I don't know what I was going through. I don't know what was happening to me then. Also, Fritz, on top of this, it would be nice if things changed so that those of us who do work differently could get actual help without condensation. I don't know that word. I'm sorry, Fritz. I don't know that word. Without being made to feel bad about it. Thank you. My brain kept going condensation, as in the stuff that, like water when it condenses on the window, and I couldn't get I couldn't get anything but that out of my head, and my brain was going condensation, and then obviously then my brain does that freaking, was it Family Guy moment of where it's like condensation, and that was what's playing in my head, and I just couldn't get out of my head. Do you know what? That's true. Why is dyslexia the word they picked to describe dyslexia? They put a Y in there and an X in there, for the love of God. It's like they're trying to make it hard to spell on purpose. Dyslexia is like one of those words that sounds and reads like what it means to be. Like dyslexia, the difficulty in reading and spelling. And this word is difficult to read and spell. It's like it's intended to be difficult and awkward. May I say, to everyone still here, and everyone who was here before, thank you for allowing me to have today, and to open up like this. I know I cried at the beginning, but because it's just, there's a whole shitload of stuff in my person that I haven't even started to look at. And I feel like to be the most authentic me possible, I need to do things like this. Oh, what's that? Sorry about that, Fritz. I missed your thing. Fritz, for example, I cannot for the life of me get my head around 24-hour format. When something gives me a time in 24-hour format, I ask one of the family to convert it to 12-hour for me. And they do. No questions. They just help me because they know I cannot understand 24-hour. Dyslexia is the dumbest word they could have given it. Xenoflame. I think the best thing I was ever told was, think of all of us in a race in life. Some of us just happen to be further away from the starting point than others, and we need to work harder just to catch up with everyone else. There is no blame to pass, and we're all just born differently. When I was a kid, I was the only kid in my first grade class who couldn't snap my fingers. I didn't learn how to do it until I was 30 years old. In my class, I was the only one in my class that could click both hands. It's just something I learned to do. That's the problem. Most of the time, we wouldn't need to catch up if we were given the right help early on. Yes, to some degree. I mean, the difficulty is always going to be there, and some of the ways that people let's put it this way: neurodivergent people shouldn't be in schools. Shouldn't be in schools. Should not. The constructed way that schools run, where you have to do coursework and exams and regurgitation of data to prove that you've learned something, which makes no sense. Regurgitation of information is not learning, it's just regurgitating. Real learning is hands-on doing something and learning from that experience, right? In all of my life, I have learned more doing stuff because I can than I ever learned at school. Fritz, if they had caught that I had dyscalculia at an early age, they would have been able to help me learn in a different way that could have helped me a lot more. And then you said, oh boy, I agree on that. Okay, I assume you're talking about the school thing. Fluffy Bun Buns. Hello, Bun Buns. How are you? I'm having a bit of a rant. So, Buns, welcome to the Authentic Noxie Show. I have been spending 2 days laying it out, quite heavily in fact, and if you're of a nervous disposition or you're worried of triggering conversations, I'm going to warn you in advance now, but I'm trying to break a wall for myself. I'm trying to be me more. There's been a lot of conversations around mental health, neurodivergentness, ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia. We're kind of opening the forum of conversation of self-learning, self-healing to some extent, and also trying to allow... I'm trying to stop myself from pretending to be somebody I am not. Just to bring you up to speed to where we are. We were just talking about schools and dyscalculia specifically just now with Fritz, and I was also divulging my experiences with having undiagnosed dyslexia and undiagnosed ADHD for pretty much all of my life. And one of the things I was saying previously is because I didn't know I had a failure, because I didn't know I had this weakness of words and letters and next, I kept finding unique ways of dealing with these things. I tried to find ways of overcoming these weaknesses, and so I leaned very heavily on things like Grammarly and spell checkers because I can't write for crap. I cannot do paragraphs. I cannot do any of that stuff, like, at all. Sorry, sis. There was a girl in my English class who happened to be partially colorblind. Her teacher was a nightmare and kept writing on the board in the colors she couldn't see properly. On top of this, she struggled with the subject anyway. I sat next to her and would write everything out from the whiteboard on the paper in colours she could see, and then I would help her with everything she didn't understand. She thankfully passed her English exam. Well, Fritz, this is gonna blow your brain. I too sat next to a partially sighted person called Chris. I'm not going to say his surname because that's unfair to him, but I will say his first name, Chris, because Chris is a very ununique name. Chris and I spent all of our secondary school sat together. He couldn't see properly. He had a helper in the school and was often put into a special class to basically help him understand stuff because he couldn't quite see properly. I helped him through pretty much his whole school life. I taught him the things I understood from what the teachers were saying, and through gauging other people's interactions. So I can't read very well. So when the teacher was writing on the board, I was pretty useless, but I would hear what they said, and I would just write down my interpretation of the words. So I would just write, especially in science, I would just make up words, sort of the similar sounds that was being said at the time. And sometimes I would just copy the words, but not understand how they were constructed. So I just have these words that I would know would mean something. Post-traumatic girl, hope all is well. Been on vacation and my bandmates are on vacations, though they're doing good. Gonna be heading home to move into a new townhouse and finally surgery. Hey, that's great news. Keep us informed of your surgery. Let me know what's going on. I'm absolutely invested in this, by the way. Post-traumatic girl music is Lori. Damn it. Lorelei. Thank you. I remembered ish. Son of Flame. I was a kid who was never there, but would always get higher grades on tests just because I could read textbooks. I'll board him in class when I was actually there. And this is what I mean by helping, and how they shouldn't need to catch up the race if we're given the right help. If it weren't for us, they may not have had any help at all. Yeah, do it, Lorelei. Do it. Keep it up to date. So interestingly, I sat next to Chris his whole secondary school life. So that was from year 7 through to year 12. I can't remember if he stayed on or not, truth to be told. And I taught him everything I understood. So his knowledge was, I would argue, pretty much exactly the same as mine. So we kind of knew the same stuff. Does that make sense? He got higher grades than me. Work that out. Uh, what's this? Speaking of English class, though, I found out I was colorblind in one eye one day in 8th grade in English class. See, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like to be colorblind, but I do know what it's like to be lazy-eyed, which is what I think the term is. And basically, this eye here doesn't work properly. I think it's at like 20% of its capabilities. It's the equivalent of a, you know, oh god, you're gonna have to go back in time with me to understand this is how I describe it to people. You know, like when you used to watch CRT TVs with aerials, right? And you'd have to tune it to an image to see the image, right? And there'd be a moment before it became clear where it was like really fuzzy, like really like you can see like pixels and you can see images, but it wasn't quite in focus yet. But you can see something was there. That is the image of this eye every day, like forever. So there we go. Fritza, sort of me in religious studies in school. I used to write date and title, and then just doodle in my books. Still got high grades because it was always about Christianity and barely any other religion. My school told us about other religions. Like, we knew they existed, but we never did a course. We never did. I never sat a exam on RE. I don't remember. Religious education was something we would never graded on. What's this? Sorry, I'm lost again. I'm trying my best to keep on tab on this, but I'm actually really bad at this. It's because the chat box I'm looking at is really small, so it's actually really hard for me to keep tabs. Especially when Kitsu's moving. What are you up to, Kitsu? What are you up to? Come in and say hello. Oh, look at you. I kind of want to stroke him. I'll do it in a minute. Post-traumatic girl music. I read your update about you were struggling with in Discord. It's definitely relatable. I'm hoping you're feeling better though. I'm not feeling better. This conversation and opening up like this is definitely helping, but I am nowhere near better. Mainly because, interestingly, Fritza can kind of back this up a bit, which is kind of weirdly, like, what's the word? Really lethargic. I have a shit ton of past trauma, of historic family past trauma. And then you add on top of that being an undiagnosed ADHD neurodivergent dyslexic who has spent their entire life being told you will amount to nothing. You are nothing. You are to be seen and not heard. You are worthless. All my life I was told that until I met my wife, who changed basically all of that. But needless to say, up until that point, that was my life. And so my adulthood has been dictated by this conformity and this enforced pressure that was constantly kind of exuberated on me on a day-to-day basis. I don't talk about this stuff, but fuck it, we're going down this road anyway. I was severely bullied at school from the age of 4, 5 until I was about 17. And when I said I was bullied, I don't mean like a little bit. I was physically abused, mentally, emotionally abused every single day of my life that I was at school. And it didn't stop ever. And there'd be days where I'd know going to school meant I was going to get hurt. And you know what? I still went because I was so stubborn and so determined that I was going to do well at school. It was like I was so determined. And I kind of feel like I'm not that guy anymore. I feel like because there's an element I don't need to be anymore because I don't have that pressure anymore. I don't have that like violence. Violence doesn't live in my life anymore. Like that trauma doesn't live in my life anymore. But yet I'm still being controlled by it. And I need that to stop. Anyway, sorry. Went off on a tangent again. What's this? Sorry, everyone. I'm just gonna try and catch up again. Armageddon. I'm too young to experience those old TVs, but I think I know what you talk about. What you mean? The only other way I can explain it is like, you know, when you watch programs and they cover over somebody's face to make you not like you don't know what their face looks like, but you can still see the outline of their heads. It's kind of like that. It's hard to explain. Post-traumatic girl music. And if you need help remembering, post-traumatic, it was me and my bandmates all together. But yeah, just wanted to clarify, we all stream and game together and work on music on our streams together. Just make sure you remember. Yeah, I remember. So no, I can agree with that, Brits. I had one particular maths teacher who I can't say she didn't like teaching, but she didn't put much effort into it. I was passing her class for half the year just by classwork and test alone. Never did any homework, and I also helped my fellow classmates who were having trouble understanding things. She herself never took the initiative herself to help them, but would yell out to correct me if I said a number out of place. She changed her grading. Fritz, they sort of just touched on the subject of other religions, but it was always Christianity at the forefront. Yeah, my school was very that. Oh god, we had to sing hymns. What kind of bloody... What? That was like... The only way to describe that was some level of mind manipulation, or, you know, that kind of like indoctrination. There you go. I swear to God, my schools were trying to indoctrinate me into religion. Because I honestly, every day we sung hymns and psalms, and it was always about Christianity. I mean, every freaking day. And it would make us sing these things, praise Jesus and all that jazz. And I honestly, I don't know how I came out of that not being like fully devout kind of Christian because they did everything. They even bought me a New Testament book, a little red New Testament book to for me to read. That oh my god! Sorry, that was just something I forgot about. Excuse me. I remember those old TVs. Youth CRT TVs are like a sort of perfect example of how we have eye contact issues when it comes to ADHD and autism, etc. Grading style half. Oh, okay, right. She changed her grading style halfway through to focus more on homework. Then everything else, just as a result, started fading despite scoring higher than the rest of the class, both normal and state test. Talking about it is only one step. Yes, he does. Oh, you're confirming my historic trauma. I've told Fritz a load of my historic stories, and not even the worst ones. That's Fritz has heard my stories, but she's never heard my worst ones. That's all I'm gonna say on that moment. One day we might go to that. Who knows? That breaks my heart. I had to deal with shit like that my entire life due to various disabilities and health issues I had. So it sucks. You're definitely not alone in that. Zeno. My colorblindness was a result of an eye injury when I was younger. I had an eye injury when I was younger. It didn't see some colors correctly, but my other eye did, so they ended up combining the colors they were seeing, and that's what I would see. I never knew I wasn't seeing things correctly until one day we were asked to split into two colored teams, and I was like, but they're both purple. I had scarlet fever when I was a kid, and my mum tried to get the doctor to come to our house to look after me, and they refused. So my mum had to take me to the doctors, and it transpires that scarlet fever makes your eyes sensitive to light, and this eye somehow must have got too much light in it, and it killed my eye, basically. The bullying was pretty shitty in my youth too. I honestly don't think that. I don't believe that nobody experiences bullying. There's levels of bullying that people experience, but I don't truly believe anyone has not experienced bullying. And in fact, I don't think bullying is even like only a school thing. I think bullying continues into your adulthood, and some of the bullying can be severe, and some of it can be debilitating, especially if you're neurodivergent or you are LGBTQA, for example. Like, bullying is still really vivid and still very ferocious and still really unnecessary. I don't understand, but then that kind of mentality, that kind of attitude is a taught attitude. It's not a natural attitude. Like my little girl, she will take her to places and she'll see so many different types of people and she will play with them equally. She doesn't care if they have a disability, if they have an issue, color of skin, anything. And she'll just play with them equally. And that is how we're going to keep pushing her. I will not let her change that about herself, because that's perfect. Armageddon. I remember singing some hymns in primary school, but I think that pretty much stopped in secondary school. We did get the odd assembly where someone from church would come and talk to us, though. Fritz, the good bit though was a part of in the religious exam where you could write about differences between two religions. Didn't specify whether or not it had to be about religions we were taught about in class, so I did Christianity and paganism and got a B grade. I would have done Jedi, and I would have done something else. I wouldn't have taken that seriously. Tell you that now. Oh, and we also got given the free Bible. Oh boy, so I'm not alone on that one. Fritz, there's always some stories that takes us a while to tell, even to people closest to us. Yep, damn straight there are. I went to Google to look something up and forgot that I wanted to look up when the page opened. Armageddon. I think in a lot of cases, not all, the bullying just becomes more subtle as a grab. That's a very interesting position. My bullying I experienced as an adult wasn't subtle. Some of it has been, but a lot of it was not. It was difficult. I'll come to that another day, I think. Who knows? We'll see how we get on. Fritz, it took me a while to tell Chimpy the story about the girl from high school. Also, that was the only time I really got bullied from associating with that high school girl. Again, you might not get pushed over like you did in primary school, but as an adult, you might have people talking behind your back or exclude you from things. No, mine's a bit more in your face than that, unfortunately. I'll come to that another day, I think. I'm just gonna say post because my brain is struggling with this. I'm glad that I survived living in the south of Texas and escaped the indoctrination they put me through. The religious right are just psycho. I moved away from Texas on my own at age 15 after I graduated early and never looked back. And again, damn, yeah, Texas does not seem like a fun place to be. So no, we don't have religion in schools here, but we do have Sunday school and social religion to help instill religion into us. Yeah, we had Sunday school near us, and a load of my classmates went to that. And one of them encouraged me to go, and I did. And I watched someone get baptized. I've never seen that before, but I have now. I did then. And they put us in this room, and it had like religious text all over the walls and imagery and stuff like that of like Christ and stuff, and like all the books, like even the kids' books, were all about like the Good Samaritan and the burning bush and all this sort of stuff, where it was like stories for kids, but it was all religious folklore, that sort of stuff. And literally, we had a Sunday school teacher who would basically keep telling us about how God loves us and how we show our love to God by embodying the teachings and stuff like that. It was not fun. Post. Oh hell no, it's not. Unless you enjoy barbecue or water parks or fun things to do in Texas, it's not really a place that's nice to live in or anything like that. To me, it's now only a tourist state, lol. No longer my birth home or state. I will never go back to Texas unless it's for fun trips and a brief vacation. Fritz. I have a buddy who lives in Texas. He's actually working towards being part of their state government because he wants to actively help change things for the better. Post. Fritz. As long as they're progressive or an independent or whatever, go for it. And then Fritz was like completely progressive. He's a great dude. That's cool. Unfortunately, I don't know. I doubt they'll go far in Texas being progressive because that is a very secular kind of. But we hope that, I mean, with people like that, change does happen. So, I mean, the old people will die eventually or have to leave their jobs eventually. And then the young people who have these progressive ideas will take power because there will be no one to take up. You'd hope. Post. Cool. Figure cross for your buddy to get into the state government for the midterms. Fritz. I can only hope with time and newer generation things will actually change. The only problem I have with that thought process is, as I said before, because being horrible is a taught way of work, like it's like a taught way of living, taught to be that way. People who are that bad will teach their kids that that's how they should be, and the cycle continues. So it requires re-education as well. So bring progressive people into power, absolutely, but with them change the way education works. Because until people get taught that the way they are is not acceptable, they're just going to continue being visual and horrible. There was a Beto that's from Texas, so he's been working on running for governor. He's considered progressive. The adults didn't particularly like me at our Sunday school. They didn't like me either. I questioned a lot, by the way. I questioned them every time I talked about God, specifically Jesus. I questioned them because I was very confused with the things this guy could do. Like, it's cool that he could do these really cool, things. That's really cool. But how? I had so many questions. There was one guy, however, who did his best to answer all of my questions. Those who could answer, he admitted to knowing the answer and telling me it was up to me to find my own answers. Oh God, yeah. I can proudly say that I'm an atheist because of that Sunday school teacher. That's the only way to fly. And then it's like, oh, I know what I was looking for now. There we go. Fritzler, the thing is, people are now also learning from the internet. I've watched people grow from being horrible people because of their parents to being great people because of the influence of the internet. Yeah. The internet to have a positive change from the internet, you need to essentially have the want to change already, because the algorithms and the bubbles that will be grown around you on the internet will enforce your ideals that you already have. Because you'll go on there and you'll look at content that you already believe in, and then all the internet will essentially do is kind of reinforce your beliefs by showing you content that kind of reinforces your beliefs. So the only way really to change from the internet is to either change your perception and be welcome to other things, welcome into other things into your bubble, or already want to change, if that makes sense. Post. Yeah, how the hell did Mary even have a baby with God to give birth to Jesus? That's just weird. Immaculate insemination. There's an answer to that, but it's not a nice answer, and it's the answer I gave and I got in trouble with. But let's not go down that route right now. Post. I kept asking if they did the freaky deaky in school. I got kicked out of classes for that. I mean, come on, it's impossible to get pregnant by God unless they're talking about Zeus and Hades and all that shit from Mount Olympus. There is a way. You can, but it is a very invasive thing to do to a person. That's what I'm saying. That's a conversation we don't want to go down. So no, for me it was. So explain to me how the dinosaurs fit into all of this. If God made the universe in 7 days, if we exist at the same time as them, then how did we not go extinct from the decimated by being decimated by dinosaurs? The Social Dilemma documentary film on Netflix explains that. It's pretty scary how the algorithms can literally do all that to a human being and enforce the beliefs they believe in, even if it's harmful and life-threatening, dangerous. Yeah, that's the dark side of the internet. But I don't. This is interesting, right? The internet as an entity does not exist as an entity. It's not a real thing. It doesn't really exist. The internet is just a load of data that sits in servers that you can access through addresses. That's it. Misinformation can only exist if somebody writes it. Somebody has to write it. Someone has to make it exist first. So horrible people, make shit up and put it on sites, and then equally shit people will create algorithms to allow their stuff to be found by people who think the same way as they do, essentially creating a bubble and loop of misinformation and disproportionate beliefs, right? That's how that kind of works. It really, if the information didn't exist, then there would be no enforcement of beliefs. But then that would require policing of data, and that's where we get into the sticky territory of freedom of speech and freedom of information. Oh, hello, 2004. Hey, sup, a question. By all means, we are being very open and honest about stuff. Feel free to ask a question. I will do my best to answer it in a way that may not. I will be very honest. Post said, it's still funny, the story of Mary having a baby Jesus with God. I mean, it's got to be a powerful spell. Oh boy. I mean, it's got to be willed into existence first. There's a buddy from school who used to call gay people the F word and physically harm people. through the help of people online, they've improved themselves. Apologized to everyone they harmed and became a call handler at mental health service. Yeah, but that person must have in their head somewhere an element of guilt for what they did to people. They must have done. And they've repented. They've sought support and help to better themselves. That's the only way it would work. Because if that is their attitude going into the internet, all the internet will do is say, "Yeah, your opinion's correct. Everyone you believe is an F word is an F word," because that's what the algorithm will do. By only going on there and saying and having this element of guilt and allowing other people to kind of redirect your data, your access to information, will that change? I'm interested to see who this Lur is going to say. They wanted to question. They wanted to ask a question. Ask a question, please. Post. Even after someone writes the misinformation and makes up lies, rumors, stories about an innocent person, the algorithms are set up in a malicious way that can really harm that person. Yeah, absolutely is. That's an amazing transformation. It is. I'm not taken away from that at all. I'm just saying that person must have had the want to change. It's the only way I could think. Fritz, I'm sure they felt guilty, but what I'm basically saying is, even if you were brought up with a certain mindset from your parents or whoever raised you, there are definitely ways to unlearn all that bad stuff. Yes, that's kind of what I'm saying about re-education. So to change the circle of cycle of misinformation, you need to re-educate people and make them aware of, the truths and the realism of the world and how it's not how it used to be, and how people like you and I exist now. We're not hiding from you anymore. We're not hiding our true, authentic selves anymore. Our masks are coming away. The weird, geeky, hidden people that we were perceived to be is no longer weird, and is more acceptable and more accepted by a wider audience of people. And all we're going to be doing is essentially utilizing that platform to help people feel welcome and loved. And that's what I want to do. I want people to come to the stream and feel like they can be themselves, be their authentic selves. But I can't do that if I'm always the one masking. If I'm the one not being my authentic true self, then the people coming to the stream are not going to be their true authentic self, because they're not going to feel like they can be. If I need to demonstrate the willingness of change and willingness of acceptance by accepting myself first, and I can only do that by being open and honest and doing things like this, where I just spend the entire time I'm streaming just chatting with you, talking about my stuff, myself, and having this open discussion with you, because I would hope that the next time I stream, you'll feel more at home with me. And if you come to my Discord, you'll feel more at home there. That's what I want. With each generation, sorry, this is what Fritz says. Apologies. With each generation, people are learning how to be more positive towards each other, and the internet helps sort of spread positivity, because so many young people use the internet to spread positivity. Yes, again, the algorithms, that's where they do help, because if you have a positive mindset, these algorithms will help you find more positivity. It's the whole ADHD diagnosis on TikTok concept. It's crazy to talk about it, but it makes sense in my head anyway. If the TikTok algorithm is so good that it helps you find content about other people with ADHD, and you're watching that content going, that feels like me, I do all those things, then there could be an argument that you have ADHD. Now, it's not a way to definitely get a clinical diagnostics, but at least it gives you the pathways of discovery, and then through that, then you can apply and request or go for some kind of thing like I did, and then you get your answer, and then there's two outcomes of that answer. You can sit there and go, huh, I didn't expect that, or you sit there and go, huh, makes sense. Post. Not all young people, though. There are still some that are toxic, so it's important to ensure that those spreading the positivity are the most amplified in order to overcome the malicious algorithms. That's a tricky one. The reason I say that's a tricky one is because humans are not inherently dumb. Humans are quite clever, and they can tell when people are, to some extent, can tell when people are manipulating them. And if you keep pushing positive statements to them that kind of are against their core beliefs, they're going to reject it and move away from that platform. Like, literally, will just reject and move away. What you need to do is change perception through small changes, but small and regular changes. Like, you change how they feel about a thing, and you change how they feel about another thing, and you slowly transition that change over time and over like multiple experiences, and then you bring them to the bigger positive stuff. And by that time, because they've had this slow self-discovery of change, that allows them to be more receptacle to the change that you're encouraging through the algorithm. Post. Well, I'm off for dinner, and I've got to get some rest to get ready to get out for my Amtrak train trip to New York City tomorrow. I learned a lot, and it was fun to chat and have some interesting conversations with you, Nexie, and others. Fritz, that's what I meant earlier by, if we didn't talk about our mental health, we wouldn't create a space for others to feel comfortable talking about. Every generation, there are more people being themselves, more open. We have grown more aware of the crap on the internet and have mostly become smart enough to avoid and destroy the malicious stuff. How we have cancel culture now, because of how people on the internet hold malicious people accountable. Post, read. But remember, even cancel culture can go too far if the person being accused was framed or innocent. So that's why it's important to make small changes every day to figure out what works and what doesn't. But on top of cancel culture, we also have a lot of people who actively look for evidence to avoid cancelling. Yeah, but let's be fair. People have what is called knee-jerk reaction to things. And they will get information and they will do two things with that information. They will just react or they will investigate. Essentially, that's it. People tend to do those two actions. And I don't agree that ignoring it and moving on is an action, because you don't have to do anything to do that. If you ignore and move on, that is not an action. That's an inaction. An action is doing something, which is either, is why I say that. Thanks for joining us. Post. Hope you've got something nice for Dins. Post says to Fritz, true that. Agreed. Hopefully that will help. Post says, yep. The dinner I've got is chicken Alfredo. Yummy. And then Emma was like, yum yum. Nice. Nice. And Post says, sadly, most people don't bother to investigate. I've seen too many reacting without knowing the actual story or facts. It's crazy. That is because humans are inherently lazy. It's easy for a human just to react to something. And do you know what gets the biggest reaction from humans? Something that makes them angry. If you show somebody something that makes them angry, they will react. Oh, and they will react hard. And that is what algorithms mostly feed on. They will find something that will make you angry and they will feed it to you because they know that is a guarantee reaction from you. And it winds me up because they catch me more than I'd like them to. They get me a lot. Yeah. Humans are lazy. To investigate requires a want to do it. And unless you're already invested in the thing, in believing this, I think the really good example of that is this whole, was it Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing? Like, people reacted in like so many different ways because there's this whole culture of like victim blaming, and then there's this whole culture of innocent until proven guilty, and then there's so many layers to it. It's just so much. And then this is where people's laziness comes in true form, because they will just react and they won't investigate and they won't care. And the thing is, it's like the positioning of the outcome of this court case kind of is irrelevant to anyone, really, because that's their own personal grievance with each other. It shouldn't impact anyone else. It's, women still need to step forward when they're being physically hurt or even emotionally hurt. This shouldn't put people off calling out bullies. But bullies are not just men or just women. No, they could be anyone. They could be your boss. They could be your friend, or acquaintances. It's such a melting pot of anger, because so many different people are being affected by this whole conversation. It just it messes my head. Big time messes my head. Okay, let's go back to the statements. Just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. I'm trying not to. Oh, God damn it! This thing seriously is so small. I tried to put it back on my layout, and then I lost completely where I'm going. Fritz says, time always helps us improve our responses to these things. Over time, cancel culture will become consequence culture, where people who are actively found to be legitimately malicious will be the ones to be cancelled as a consequence of their evident actions. At the moment, we have a good balance of people who will cancel and people who will look for evidence. And then Post says, sad but true, Nexi, agreed. Anyway, heading offline now. Thanks for the excellent conversations. Fritz says, in a way, the more people who jump to cancel others, the more it trends, and that brings it to the attention of more people who will go and find evidence. And Post says, you're talking about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation. I was, but I'm more talking in the imbalance thing. I don't want to go. I do not want to investigate. I will say this now. It's nothing to do with me. I am not going down that route. We're talking about us as people. Let's not worry about that. Fritz, for example, there was a time where cancel culture came after Dan of Game Grumps because it became a big thing. More people were looking for evidence and found out it was faked and the situation wrapped up quickly. Post says, yeah, it makes sense. Unfortunately, Amber made it impossible for actual survivors to be heard and believe and step forward because she lied a lot. And it was pretty messed up. She basically and most likely effectively ended the Me Too movement with her lies and whatnot. So it's really important to see the differences. I don't think she's ruined the Me Too movement, but I do believe that she potentially utilized it for her own benefit. But I will say this: no matter the outcome of that court case, no matter who won or who lost, I don't know what happened. I'm not privy to the experience. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of it. So it's not I don't have any right to have an opinion about who is right and wrong because it's nothing to do with me. And if I was to counsel Amber because I believe she lied, that would be unfair because I don't know for sure. And the same if I counseled Johnny Depp because I thought he'd done something disgusting without knowing the truth. Either way. Post. Yeah, I didn't take sides until I watched the final days of the court situation and the case and saw a lot of videos. So it was really complicated to figure out if Amber was telling the truth or if Johnny was telling the truth until the very end. Post. Johnny won, by the way, but yeah, it was a crazy situation for a while. Yeah, I'm aware who won. I was just trying to say in kind of like hypothetical situation where this outcome hadn't occurred yet. I don't think I could be the sort of person. I don't think it's fair for me to cancel a person until we know the truth of a situation. It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one. Post. Yeah, it's really important to know the truth of the situation before doing anything. Post. Anyway, it was really gotta go. Alright, Post. Thanks for stopping by. Great talking to you, and thank you for taking part in this conversation tonight. Escape or turn? Hello, you. Sneaking in there. You can always find a case which falls just to the side of whatever line you draw, and one case that we don't really know about says nothing about any others. You certainly can. You can always find a case where your personal opinions are reinforced, or your personal opinions about a famous person could be enforced. The problem is, drip feeding people stuff all the time leads to this kind of uncertainty. That's why I leave it hell alone. I just like, no, thank you. I am not interested in that conversation. Thank you very much. But thank you everyone for spending your evening with me, ranting and raving and crying and offloading. This has been incredibly helpful to me. And I absolutely 100% love you guys. I'm not exaggerating at all. People need to be way better at admitting they don't know things. I think Scapleton, I think you know for a fact that I don't have any qualms of being honest when I don't know something. I am brutally honest with that kind of stuff. There's no point in me lying because eventually I'll be found out anyway. I know what I know. That's all I care about. But this was definitely something I needed. I know I should be streaming a game. I should be playing something, but I really needed to get this stuff off my chest tonight. I was thinking about it for Tuesday, but I just didn't think I was in the right headspace on Tuesday. So I played the game. Didn't really enjoy it. Wasn't very happy with myself. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. We're just going to have it out. We're just going to air it all out. Talk it through. And you know what? One of the things I've realised from doing that today, for doing that tonight, was just how accepting and how willing every one of you were in not only listening to my stories but sharing your own. Do you know what? I should have done something like that, but do you know what? I hyper focus on video games, and I just don't think I would have given it the same kind of attention, because I would be too busy focusing on the colour of a wall or what wallpaper this bedroom required. I think that for me tonight, I needed to do this. I needed just to be me and those who wanted to talk to me, and for me just to open up a bit and just to say, look, I'm going to try and be more authentic. I'm going to try and be more truthful to myself on these streams. And if that means that people don't like what they see and don't want anything to do with me anymore, then fine. But then at least I know the truth. I'd rather people stuck around because I'm being me than stuck around because I'm being the person I think they want me to be. It's the truth. And so I'm going to try and censor myself less. I'm going to try and be more myself. I'm going to try and be more like chatty. And I'm going to try and bug people to play games with me more, so I can allow myself the opportunity to be myself a bit more. How I do that, I don't know, but I definitely want to. I keep forgetting how big the this chat bubble thing makes emoticons. I genuinely forget how big they look. You can Hey 9J, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I'm Noxie, nice to meet you. We were just having a bit of a chat. Nothing too I say that it was a bit heavy. To be honest, I was being very open and honest with my feelings and stuff. 9J, so tell us about yourself. How are you? How are you been? How are you today? I'm doing good, thank you. How are you? Well, I am actually a little bit better. Thank you for the hydrate, Emma. Thank you for the stretch as well. So 9J, just to give you a brief introduction and bring you kind of a little bit up to date with what's been going on so far. So I've been experiencing a lot of issues with my mental health as of late, and I've realized it's because I wear a proverbial like a mask when I stream, and I try to present myself as a person that I believe that people want to see when they come to a stream. And it's been actually detrimental to myself because I've been trying to portray this person for so long, and it's not been working for me because I genuinely think people are clever and they realize that I'm not being truthful to them. I want to see you, bro. I love you, man. I love you so much. But yeah, so I decided that today was the day that I was just going to lay it out and tell the truth and say, look, I've not been perfect. I have not been my true, authentic self. And I don't think that's fair to the people that come and see me, especially if they come to see me for being that person, because they're not getting the true reflection of it. They're not getting the true me come through. So we just had it out. We had a conversation. We were talking about it in more detail. We're talking about bullying. We talked about neurodivergence. We talked about the fact that I've got ADHD and how that impacts our lives. Emphasis on the you responding to what you said, or does that sound a bit earnest? No, I was saying it to you. Oh, 9J, thank you. That's really sweet. Not the mask. Yeah, I saw what you. I know what you meant, but I was repeating it back to you, my dude, and saying I want to see you too. It's more healthy to be authentic. Plus, it doesn't matter who you are. Someone's gonna like you. 9. Honestly, I have this history of trying to present myself in a way that I think other people want to see. And it's actually broken my heart more than I realized it had. And so I've had some time away from streaming. I've had some time away from stuff. I've had some good cries offline. With, my wife has been there when I've broken a little. Because I realized just how much of a disservice I was doing to myself. Like how much I was not looking out for myself. It's important to be a little bit selfish. Because self-care is important, right? I will preach that, but I won't do it. And that's the problem. So I just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna be myself. I'm done trying to censor myself and trying to be the person I think others want to see. I'm gonna try and be myself more. And if that means I don't have the same people around in my life, it's just clearly just they weren't here for me, and I don't need them in my life. Oh. 9. I had a similar situation until a few months ago, and now I have new friends who allow me to be myself. I am much happier. It's difficult, but once you get more comfortable with yourself, you'll see how much happier you are. Sorry for the big chunk of message. Honestly, tonight we've had bigger than that, and I will welcome it. I welcome it. I want people to communicate. I want people to feel like this is a safe place for them, and they can only feel that way if I'm. You can only be honest with me if I'm being honest with you. You can't come here. I can't expect you to come here and feel like you are safe in this space if I am not making it safe by being open myself. So I genuinely think people come here, see me, say these things, and go, but you're not being truth to us. I tend to rant, especially about stuff like this. No, I do too. Which is evident with tonight. I started streaming a few hours ago, 3 hours ago, and I have not stopped. Fritz, right, it's way past sleep time for me. Big hugs, love you, bro. My Discord's always there if you need to chat, or if you want to recruit me for a game. Yeah, this is very important for people to understand about me. I cannot keep up with text conversations at all. My dyslexia does not allow me to keep track of conversations. I'm in people's Discords, but I can't keep track of multiple Discords because my brain just implodes because it's too much text. So I stay in my own Discord, not because I'm being self-eccentric, not because I just care about my own content. It's because I can't keep up with other content. So I'll reach out to you on Discord by all means, but I'll probably do it via DMs, or I might mention you in my Discord. It's not because I want you to come and talk specifically in my Discord. It's just because I'm trying to get your attention. Because I can't do multiple Discords. It's just not possible for my brain. We're all for the rants, especially tonight. Send memes accounts. It's important to take self-care days too. I took a few days off college when it got back. I really don't take days off. I don't do that, which is bad. I know it's bad. I know it's bad. I'm a victim of my own want to support others. So, my life circle, everyone around me comes first. And if I have time, then I look after myself for a bit. So 100% of my time is always looking after other people and never myself. Which is why I kind of quote myself in my bio as a big brother type, because I really am. I like to look after people and help them as much as I can. But I don't look after myself nearly enough. I sometimes wonder if I should send out a monthly tweet apologizing for people who I've forgotten to get back to, just in case. I know I do it, so I'm pretty forgiving when others do it. Information overload. 9J, I think our experiences of feelings are very similar. I totally understand what you mean. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to be more open in my Discord about stuff like this, because being in a stream, yes, you get that immediate kind of reaction and conversation, because I'm here and I'm reading what you're saying and I'm reacting and responding to it. But I believe that this sort of stuff shouldn't begin and end in a stream. It should continue outside of the stream. So I try to reach out to people on Twitch and Twitter, and on Discord and stuff. I'm trying to be there for others as much as I can be. But I also want to make sure that I'm looking after myself more now. But I can only do that. I need to make sure other people are okay first. And I worry about people, especially when when no one's like, my Discord is quite quiet, which is great because information overload, as I said, is a thing I struggle with. But also means I worry about people because I don't know if they're okay because they're not telling me they're okay. So I'm in my own little head going, oh, I hope these people are all right. I struggle with that a lot. It's like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm, keeping on top of these things, but at the same time, I want to make sure that people feel are okay. And going back to what Scapleton said a minute ago, I forget all the time that I've agreed to talk to somebody, or I say to somebody, oh, we should meet up, we should talk. I truly mean it. I won't remember to do it though. And that's not because I'm, again, forgetful. It's because I have ADHD and I cannot retain that information as much as I'd love to. And so the only way I remember to do it is if I wrote it in a calendar to remind me to do a thing. But that requires for me to remember to do the activity of adding the calendar of thing. So I'm already losing battle because I want to do this thing. I want to remind myself to do the thing, but I need to remind myself to do the thing. It's good to worry about people to an extent, I think. If it's to the point that it's stressing you out, then maybe try to reassure yourself. It sounds like it wouldn't work, but over time it will. I think by doing things like this, by having these kind of conversations, I think it allows other people to understand me a bit better and understand why I'm like this. I think through that understanding, people will be more okay with me being that more attentive with them, because I think they would understand it's not because I'm questioning them, it's because I genuinely care. But I can only show that I care by being authentic, and I can only do that by being open and vulnerable. And so that's what I'm trying to do tonight, is be that open and vulnerable person. So when people come back to my streams in the future, when I'm masking, when I'm not being this person again, I want people to kind of call me out and keep me on track. And through that learned behavior change, I think that I could improve. But I need help. And that's why I'm asking for it. Because I suck at it. To put it simple. Scapleton. I don't have ADHD. I blame having a human brain. Trying to organize things with a chunk of electric meat chaos. 9. Yes, of course. It's so important to talk about your mental health with the people that matter. Right people will give you strength. That's so true. That's so true. Like, honest to God, that's so true. With that being said, though, I do need to conclude my stream for tonight. Only because I generally only stream until about midnight in the UK time. It's kind of gone 1:30 midnight. But that has meant that we've met lovely 9J now. So I'm glad we stuck around to meet you. Thank you for taking part tonight and from sharing some of your views. And I really hope that you come back and we get to know you better. Because it was lovely to talk to you, even though it's short. Please feel free to join my Discord and share stories, and I'm more than happy to share mine because I'm very open about things like that. Yeah, we're gonna raid. We're definitely gonna raid. Only because I like to share the love with other people, make other people feel cool. And we had a raid tonight ourselves from lovely Chimhan TV. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know they had to go because they got work tomorrow, so that was lovely. I'm so happy about that. I say I'm so happy, but my facial expression doesn't change. It's because it's a internal happiness. This thing, I do smile, but I'm feeling feels right now, and I've gone through a lot of self-discovery and a lot of emotional kind of trauma exposure right now. So I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable, and so my facial expression is showing that right now. But again, I think it's important. Who should we raid? There's not many people on. Has anyone got any suggestions for raid victims? I said the word victims, you know what I mean. Or I can find somebody I've raided for what? Trying to think who to raid. Should we just find somebody else? Kind of want to find someone who has a few. Who's this person? Oh, no. I looked at someone's stream and I was like, "Who's this person?" And then they were like being very aggressive, and I was like, "No, not for me, thanks. This is not the feels I wanna. I don't stream someone that's being aggressive right now. I want to stream someone that's being chill." Nope. A lot of very aggressive people on tonight. Oh, huh, what is this? Nope. Desperately trying to find someone. A lot of these people are really aggressive tonight. Ah, I found someone. Tenacious Nami. Let's go and say hello, Tenacious Nami. Someone I've not, don't know who they are, don't know. They seem quite chill, so we go say hello. I am gonna switch over to the end scene in a moment. We do have some raid commands, so if you're a follower, feel free to copy and paste this one, because then you get the emotes. If you're a subscriber, use this one, because then it replaces it with the my channel emote, raid emote. So there's something for everyone. That's the one. And let's go and raid this new person we've not raided before. I'm hoping this is not a bad idea. I hope this person's cool. I don't know yet. It seemed cool. Yeah. So much love. Thank you ever so much to everyone who came tonight, stuck around, had a chat. It was so reassuring to have such a lovely, wonderful community, and such a welcoming community, and such a loving and an accepting community. You guys are amazing, and I love you for it. Just so you know. Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And with a fear of about to break again, because I feel my emotions welling up. I think we need to switch scenes. Love you guys. See you later. And now.